Hi everyone, and welcome to this CPE request tutorial. We're just going to go over some tips for how to submit your request and some things that a lot of people get mixed up on when they are submitting the request. So first, for the timeline, it's important to remember that first, whenever you're submitting a request, you should submit it no later than 30 days after your program has happened, but also that all of your program submissions for the year are due by September 30th because of the NASBA deadline. And if you are going to have a program after that date, then you need to submit your pre-approval to us by September 30th. Next, just a reminder that all of these, this PowerPoint will be available on the member portal, but also all of our forms and all of our templates are also available on the member portal for you to look at and for you to utilize. And then whenever you are submitting your request, be sure to look at that checklist that we've included in the forms. It's a great guide for making sure you have everything that we need. And a reminder that for the actual request form, just make sure that you are following the instructions on it, but also making sure it's signed at the bottom. The first thing that we need is speaker information and any CPA participation. So for the speaker information, you just need to include the speaker's name, title, their company name, a brief bio, and this should be included on the request form or as a separate document. And then if you are doing a program for the taxes, then you will need a licensed CPA present, and you'll have to indicate that on the request form. And then we also need the program information that includes a timed outline, and that outline should include everything that you're doing within that 50-minute period for your 1 credit CPE. And then elements of engagement. So typically for a group live program, you'll do a group discussion or a Q&A or polling questions. So you'll just need to indicate what element of engagement that you use during the program. And then if you have any handouts such as slides or brochures or flyers, you need to include those as well. For our promotional materials, this can be a screenshot if you included the program on your website or as a Facebook post, or it can be a screenshot of an email that you sent out, but it just needs to include all of this information on the slide, such as learning objectives, the number of CPE credits being offered, the field of study, any policies that you have, like refund policies, and most importantly, the NASBA registry statement. This has to be included in order to fall under NASBA regulations, and you can find this statement on the bottom of our website. Also, whenever you are completing the request, it asks that you include any learning objectives, and just a reminder that learning objectives should be a sentence such as, after completing this course, you will be able to, and then insert whatever your goal is. Don't just describe what the program is about, make sure that it's an actual objective goal. Next, there are 5 different program levels, and so you'll need to choose which one best describes your program that you're offering. So there's basic, intermediate, advanced, overview, and update. Please just look at the descriptions for each of these levels and make sure that your program matches the level. This is based on the content of the program that you're offering, but also based on the experiential level that your audience has, their knowledge level. And you're not basic, so make sure that although a lot of the programs that people offer are basic entry-level programs, make sure that you're also offering intermediate, overview, update, advanced programs. Try to push the boundaries and don't underestimate your attendees, set higher goals for them. For the attendee sign-in sheet, all attendees must sign in. It's important to note that you need a sign-in sheet, not just a registration sheet. So we need to know who actually attended, and we need their in and out times to make sure that they were present for the entire required time, which is 50 minutes per CPE credit. You'll need to include their time, whether they're a member, their email address or phone number, if they're a first-time attendee, and it is the CPE program sponsor's responsibility to monitor their attendance. For program evaluations, we also include a template for this, and you'll just need to provide a summary of the responses when submitting your request. So you can do this in an Excel sheet, or you can combine all of the responses into a PDF document and submit it that way. And just a tip, evaluations are a great opportunity to ask other questions for your attendees other than what we've provided on the template, such as asking them if they have any recommendations for future programs or if they have any volunteer interest. For the certificate of completion, we also provide a template for this for single and multi events. Templates, which are also available on the member portal. It doesn't need to be signed by the attendee, but it has to be signed by the president or the CPE chair for the chapter. And this can be distributed to attendees at the program or via email directly following the program. And it shouldn't take you more than 60 days to provide these certificates to the attendees. And then just be aware of the requirements that are listed again on the checklist, such as providing the address of the chapter and of national, and just all of the guidelines. Some of the most common sendbacks to be aware of and to make sure everything is correct before you submit your request: missing handouts, promotional materials not having the national registry statement, not having a timed outline, having the wrong field of study, and also not having a signed request form. And then for Zoom events, these are a little different than in-person events, particularly for the sign-in sheets. So for a sign-in sheet, since they can't physically sign, we ask that you download an attendee report from Zoom to confirm that every attendee was logged on for at least 50 minutes. But if you're unable to download these reports, then you can just list out all of the attendees and then track their start and end times manually. Also, the attendees will need to complete polling questions to make sure that they were alert during the session and that they were participating. So you can also download a polling report from Zoom if you're using Zoom, or you can use the chat feature or whatever you want to do to, as long as you make sure that the attendees were alert throughout the program. And then for all of these materials, be sure that you retain them for at least 5 years after you submit your request. This is a NASBA requirement, and one way to do this, if your chapter already doesn't already have one, you can use a Dropbox or use Microsoft Teams or any program like that. And then we've also provided the NASBA fields of study in case you need a refresher. And again, this PowerPoint will be available to you in the member portal in case you need to look back at it. So thank you for listening, and please email us if you have any questions.